Welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from the world of sports. Plenty of action coming your way with an exciting race at the top of the WTA, a giant match coming up tonight in La Liga, and the French sports world reacting to the hard times the country is going through. All this and much more coming up just now. We begin with La Liga, and after Real Madrid's amazing run of 22 straight wins came two defeats, both coming away from home. Will it be different once the merengues are back to the Santiago Bernabeu? The answer is yes. Espanyol stood no real chance against the European champions, who were quick to score. James Rodriguez does it on 12 minutes after a nice setup by Ronaldo. Later in the first half, Cristiano and Bale stand next to the ball, and it's the Welshman curving the beautiful free kick. He celebrates, but Ronaldo is nowhere to be seen. This Bale-Ronaldo clash may be the next big thing for the club to deal with, but at least last night it didn't bother them on the pitch. Nacho added one more after the break. Real Madrid is back to winning ways. 3-0 was the final score. Valencia was the team that stopped the incredible run by the Madrileños when they beat them last week at the Mestalla. Last night they were hoping to continue their good run when they traveled to the Balaidos to face Celta Vigo. It seemed to be happening when, just before halftime, Rodrigo put the visitors on top as his shot was deflected into the net. But the home team was the better side after the break, and they were rewarded just 15 minutes in when Chilean midfielder Fabian Orellana gets the equalizer. Valencia was actually lucky to drive back home with a point. Celta should have gotten the winner here, but Brazilian striker Charles narrowly missing. 1-1 was the final score. So, leaders Real Madrid, as we have seen, took care of their business. The two teams chasing them will face off tonight in a giant match at the Camp Nou. Barcelona will have to deal not only with champions Atletico Madrid, but also will have to put all their internal conflicts aside. The clash between manager Luis Enrique and the biggest star, Leo Messi, is no longer a secret. Enrique knows very well that in this situation, when the management is on Messi's side, every disappointing result could cost him his job. And ahead of the match, he spoke of the reality of trying to coach without getting the support from his bosses.
This is not about being supported by the club. This is about doing your job. And I do my job with full capacity. What I can tell you is that the day the players won't follow me is the day I will leave. And so far in my career, as a coach, I haven't faced that situation yet.
Atletico Madrid, on the other hand, made it back to the title race last week, and they have no intention of backing up now. Everybody remembers the last time the Colchoneros came to visit the Camp Nou. It was the championship game, which ended in a 1-1 draw, which gave Atletico the title. Now they're back, and even if the rivals seem to be in a difficult situation, both on and off the pitch, manager Diego Simeone knows exactly how good they really are.
In my opinion, they still have the characteristics that make them one of the best teams in the world. The fact that their results last year was not expected was due to the circumstances that other great teams appeared, such as us, but they keep their DNA.
On to the Premier League, and after Chelsea lost all the gap they had on Manchester City in the top in recent weeks, finally there were good news for the Blues. It started with their victory over Newcastle. The Magpies beat Chelsea just a few weeks ago. They were the first team to do it this season. Now it was pay time. Oscar gave Chelsea the lead just before halftime, and he set up Diego Costa for the second. Chelsea won it 2-0, and then came the good news from Goodison Park. Manchester City dropped 2 precious points away against Everton. The Citizens scored first. Fernandinho found the net in the second half. Soon after, Naismith got the equalizer, which means City is now once again 2 points behind Chelsea at the top. One man the Citizens were surely missing is Yaya Toure, who made the trip to Africa to join the Ivory Coast in the African Cup of Nations, which begins next Saturday. Just ahead of the tournament, he was named African Footballer of the Year for a record 4th straight time at the annual Confederation of African Football Awards. Toure joined Samuel Eto'o as the only players to win the continent's top individual award 4 times, but only Toure has done it in successive years starting in 2011. Toure's award comes on the back of his stellar performances for Manchester City, performances which helped them win the 2014 Premier League. The French League returned to action this weekend, but instead of all the focus being on the amazing race at the top, it was on the spree of terror which hit the country this past week. French athletes in all different sports reacted to the terrible events which shook Paris this week. Lise Barnbaum and Michael Friedman bring us their stories.
4 days after the attack against Charlie Hebdo and the killing of 4 hostages at Porte de Vincennes, athletes continue to honor the victims of the terrorist attacks. The rugby world has come together. The traditional Pilou song is loved by the fans of the Toulon Rugby Club. At the match against Racing Metro, the famous words "Because Toulon" were changed to "Because Charlie" as they paid tribute to the victims of the massacre. In Paris, Stade Français played against Castres. There was a minute of silence followed by the French national anthem sung by 8,500 spectators in the stadium. The president of the Toulon Rugby Club, Mourad Boujela, is very involved in the anti-racism struggle. He is currently going around the country and speaking out over the recent events.
I am more than shocked, I'm stunned. It is like September 11th for the press. This will be another landmark in history.
Skiing in Chamonix, Olympic champion Jason Lamy-Chapuis soared through the air over a message that read, "I'm Charlie." On the other side of the Atlantic, French athletes also showed solidarity. On Thursday, Nicolas Batum wore an "I am Charlie" t-shirt during a game. Kevin Seraphim of the Washington Wizards also wore the famous t-shirt on the sideline against the Chicago Bulls. Further west, Boris Diaw, the San Antonio Spurs player and captain of the French team, tweeted a thought for Paris. The football world was also heard from. Marseille showed its support by wearing black shirts against Montpellier. Real Madrid's Raphael Varane and Karim Benzema observed a minute of silence in memory of the victims of the attacks. The coach of the Casablancas also wished to talk about the terrible events.
I'm sorry this happened. All of us in Europe are concerned, and we hope that politicians will solve this problem. This is a problem that affects everyone, not just France. We hope that everything will work out, because life in fear, this is not life.
In League One, Marseille's Benjamin Mendy was emotional speaking over what transpired.
First of all, as I said earlier, I would like to give my prayers to the families and friends following the attack of Charlie Hebdo.
During Marcelo Bielsa's press conference on Thursday, he was seen with a sheet of paper which read, "I'm Charlie."
You will understand that each of us have a position. Mine is the one I just mentioned, that no facts justify death.
Some French teams such as Nancy and Dijon in the second league wore a special t-shirt for the games. In Germany, Bayern Munich had a little word for the victims. The sporting world has unanimously come together once again in this troubling time.
And the Paris events continue to bring reactions from French sports figures all over the world. Just ahead of Arsenal's match earlier today against Stoke City, the Gunners' French manager, Arsène Wenger, made his views public about the recent terror attacks.
It's shocking. I think the whole country is shocked. And France is a country where freedom of speech is a big history. And to think that in a country like France you can die today for your ideas and the way you want to speak is absolutely shocking.
There was also action on the pitch in France, and as it seems, this may be the most interesting season we have seen in France in many years. The winter break ended with leaders Marseille losing in Montpellier. The home team took the lead as Kevin Brigot scored in the first half and Paul Lasnet added one more after the break. The league leaders did get one back, but it was not enough. Montpellier wins 2-1, and it could have been the perfect setting for Paris Saint-Germain to climb to first place for the first time this season. After 20 minutes in Bastia, it looked as if PSG would seize the opportunity. They were already 2-0 up after goals by Lucas Moura and Adrien Barriou, but they simply stopped playing and the team from Corsica just took over. By halftime, it was already 2-2, and Bastia continued to dominate after the break. Julian Palmieri scored twice to make it 4-2. PSG is now down to 4th in the league, with many wondering if Laurent Blanc will still be the manager in the weeks to come. And of course, the events in France were closely followed by the fans in the stadiums. The sign by the Bastia fan says Qatar finances terrorism and also finances PSG. This is a feeling shared by many people when it comes to Qatar, who is a sponsor of many sports clubs around the world, the Parisian club among them. Just recently, Barcelona announced they would cut ties with a Gulf state country once their sponsorship deal ends at the end of next season. Moving to tennis now, and Roger Federer reached a major milestone today as he claimed the Brisbane Open and won his 1000th match of his career. Only Jimmy Connors and Ivan Lendl won more matches in their career. The women's final saw world number 2 Maria Sharapova take on Ana Ivanovic. The world number 7 had a great run to the final, dropping just 1 set in 4 matches, and she also had a great start to this game. She took the first set in a tiebreak, but it was not enough. Sharapova fought back thanks to beautiful winners such as this one. A good serve by Ivanovic, throwing Sharapova outside, but the Russian reacted with a superb forehand, frustrating her opponent, who just can't believe it. She took the second set 6-3, and same story in the decider. Sharapova wins 6-7, 6-3, and 6-3 to claim the first WTA title of the new season.
6-7, 6-3.
Sharapova is now closing in on the first place in the WTA, and judging by what the number 1 is going through, it may not be a long time until Sharapova nails it. Serena Williams, along with John Isner, took the U.S. team to the Hopman Cup final against Poland. Serena lost the women's singles, Isner won the men's singles, and now it's all down to the mixed doubles. And this is what happens. The world number 1 simply lost it after sending the easy backhand to the net, smashing her racket twice on the floor. The racket definitely taking a hit. The crowd in Perth did not like what they saw and made it clear. The Americans, who already lost the first set by this stage, did not recuperate. The Polish couple of Agnieszka Radwanska and Jerzy Janowicz took the deciding doubles match 7-5 and 6-2 and won the 2015 Hopman Cup. Serena Williams will now travel to Melbourne for the Australian Open with plenty to think about. Now to motorsports, and though the Dakar Rally is a sporting event, it doesn't mean it cannot be used for political propaganda. The competitors may spend just less than 24 hours in Bolivia, but for President Evo Morales, it is an opportunity to express his views. He welcomed the participants who crossed into Bolivia yesterday and will already leave today. And despite the short time to spend in his country, President Morales thinks this is the place they love the most.
The drivers are happy to be in Bolivia. They told me that they had the best reception in Bolivia and that everyone was loving. The organizers are very happy, and now we go for Bolivia, and already there haven't been any problems. And with this love we won, so that Dakar will pass through here. I hope it will continue next year, and we will make it advance through other departments of the country.
NBA now, and champions San Antonio Spurs are going through an unstable season. Big wins along with embarrassing losses. Well, no such problem when you visit the Timberwolves, the weakest team in the Western Conference. We are almost halfway through the season, but Minnesota have won only 5 games so far, and any hope it would change this time was quickly crashed. The Spurs were quick to take charge. Austin Daye shot 4 of 8 from downtown to put them already up by 9 in the first quarter. It was pretty much the same after the break. Boris Diaw also did the job from outside, and San Antonio came into the final period up by 20, meaning the final 12 minutes were one long garbage time. And even then, the Spurs made it look like a 3-point shooting contest on the way to a 108-93 victory. Still in the United States, where we now know which American city will be the one presenting a bid to host the 2024 Summer Olympics. Boston was the one chosen by the American Olympic Committee. Bean City was unveiled as the surprise pick over 2-time host Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. The United States hosted the event 4 times, but the bid by New York to host the 2012 Games and Chicago's bid to host the 2016 Games were both denied. The Americans are now eager to host the Games for the first time since 1996. The decision by USOC ends a long 2-year evaluation process for the American bid. Boston will now join Rome, who already presented a bid to host the Games. The decision by the International Olympic Committee will be made in mid-2017. And we'll end the show with action from the Ski Cross World Cup held in the French Alps. Marielle Thompson capped a perfect weekend with her second victory. The Canadian won Friday's event on a photo finish, but he was a much clearer winner a day later. In the final, reduced to just 3 skiers, Thompson beat Anna Holmlund and Ofield David to tighten the grip at the top of the World Cup standings. And that's it for us today. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.